So something cool happened since the last time we saw a lot of you guys. We got picked up for 13. Still waiting to hear about the Pac 9 though. Seasons of Supernatural. 22 to 24 seasons of Supernatural. Salt gun!
It's more of an industry joke. Yeah. I'm sure that lands on a lot of people here.
I'm just winded. I'm trying to catch my breath.
You're like dripping. It's like flop sweat right now.
Anybody have a bathing suit I can put on?
It's just something about a kick drum. Instant hip movements.
Yesterday I got home from work at about 4 a.m. Vancouver time, so 7 a.m. Jacksonville time, and I looked at the clock, and I was like, it's 7 a.m. on Saturday in Jacksonville. I'm waking up in 24 hours, but I mean, I'm super excited to be here, so I wouldn't be anywhere else. Without further ado, I'm going to my side to start the questiones.
Somebody have like a towel for him? Is it?
Take it off! Hand my shirt.
A Diet Coke commercial.
Why do you do that? We're not just trying to...
What is that? Where did it come from?
It's a shop towel I keep in the Apollo.
It smells like cheesehead. I'm not repeating it. I'm gonna wear like a bib. All right, we'll start over here. How are you?
Hey, I might need that towel because I'm very hungry.
Trust me, you don't want it.
So my question is how's your characters, Sam and Dean, intertwined into your own personal lives?
I married Ruby. And from what I've seen of the pictures of what they're doing today, we spawned 2 little demons.
Mistakes were made. By her.
Oh, he's right. It's been such a big part of my life, obviously, aside from the fact, met one of my best friends, met my wife, met a lot of my dear friends. I get to spend time with an entirely new family about a dozen times a year, possibly more. Y'all guys. Suffice it to say, it has had an indelible impact on my life. Any of you guys feel the same?
I get to drive a cool car. And it's not easy to drive that car. Case in point, was it 2 days ago? The guy, Tom, he's the guy that stands in for me. We both have stand-ins.
Now they're gonna kill him.
It was a very muddy set. We were working out in the woods, and the car drives in. And so they're setting up the shot, and so Tom was actually driving it in and then reversing it back out. If you don't know how to drive that car, it can be a little tricky, especially in reverse. And so it ended up in the ditch. And because it was so muddy, it took like half the crew to pull it out. Meanwhile, I was not there. I was not on set. I think we were still in hair and makeup or something, or doing wherever we were. And I show up on set, and I'm hearing that Tom put the car in the ditch. And my immediate reaction was, what? And I'm like, nobody drives it anymore than me. That's it. okay. Nothing got hurt. He was fine. Tom was very embarrassed, but that's something cool that I get to do because of my character. I get to drive a badass car.
Woo!
And then all the stuff that Jared said too. Ditto.
Thank you very much.
Our dear friend and one of our favorite new directors now, Nina, is she just yells action. She's just like, guys, wait, all right, action! Just to get us to shut up and actually perform the scene.
She's back right now, Nina, who we love, did Red Meat, and then she did, what's the other one called? It's called? Is it the one? What you've been waiting for, you've been waiting.
What you've been waiting for?
Yeah, so she did those two. She's doing one right now. And when we were filming yesterday, she told me, because we were messing around on set, myself and the guest star, and she mentioned that she gives speeches at UCLA every now and again, like to young directors, to young writers, to producers. And one of the questions that she got was, like, what do you do, and this was an honest question, so it wasn't, like, 'cause she does The Mentalist and NCIS and Frequency, I mean, she's done a bunch of different shows now, but they just happened to ask randomly, she's like, what do you do if the actors don't want to play along, or something to that effect? And she said she kind of smiled to herself, thinking about Supernatural, about the scene in the diner. Was that the Hitler episode? Which one is the last one she did? There was a phone call scene or something, and we kept on jacking around and messing around, and she's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just cutting the rest of the shots. Let's move on, guys. So she just ended up cutting some shots, and she's like, well, Jensen and Jared aren't going to come back to life, so she's moving on. She didn't call us out by name, but she said she was giggling to herself. So
yeah, needless to say, it is sometimes difficult to get work done, but it's very enjoyable. The struggle is fun. Maybe not so much for Kevin Parks, our first AD, who is essentially responsible for running the set. And he's just I just look over it sometimes when we're just not behaving properly, and he carries his walkie, and he's just literally against the wall going like this.
Probably much like
It's
our wonderful
oddly satisfying for me to see that too. Like, children, we're just big children. Yeah.
And I was wondering if you guys were ever crazy enough to join the WWE, what would be your wrestling names and why?
The flying squirrel.
flying squirrel and the raging goose. Flying squirrel and the nude moose. Moose the noose.
Yeah, who wants to fight the naked guy?
There's a great comedian, Rodney Carrington, and he says that whenever he's about to get into a fight, he just takes his clothes off. Because he's like, no one wants to fight a naked guy. He'd basically be undefeated. Moose the noose and the flying squirrel.
Moose the noose. That's it. Yeah.
What now?
Nothing.
And welcome.
And you're welcome.
Sorry. My question for you guys is, if the writers just gave you an episode to do anything you want, you could kill anyone off or bring anyone back, what would you do?
Sleep. That is a really, I guess we kind of had something like it, but I would love, I think one of the things that we haven't really done on the show, we've had an amazing episode about Baby, but I would love a full-on like car chase episode, like Gone in 60 Seconds meets The Getaway, you know what I mean? And I think it's very expensive to shoot because you have to rent streets and other cars and stunts are dangerous. But I think it'd be a lot of fun to see just how badass the car can be with the boys in it.
There's been an idea floating around for a number of years now to actually take the show on the road.
This whole time?
It would be a logistical nightmare, but to actually like take a small skeleton crew and actually road trip film for a few episodes, I think would be a really, really cool thing and a great experience.
Where would you want to go if we were going to go actually to a place, drive to a place? Where's the first spot you would want to go?
This is going to sound weird, but I would probably like Grand Canyon. Well, because there's nothing that looks like that in Canada. So to really showcase the fact that we're on the road, go to places that can't be faked, which is something like that. I think that would be really cool.
That'd be great. I was going to say Lawrence. It'd be fun to go to Lawrence. It'd be fun to go there anyways, but yeah, so those two things.
I just wanted to know what the funniest moment of season 12 is so far.
On screen or off screen?
Off screen.
Funniest off screen? I have 2 new kids. That's pretty funny.
Congratulations.
There's nothing funny about that. Is there, Norton?
I think we have to think about that.
Score?
Stork?
10-0.
The Dirty Birds. Funniest thing that's happened this season. Man.
I'm trying to think of some of the gags that we've had. I think I have a short-term memory loss or something. Let us think about it.
Old.
I will say that. I will say that when we came back, taking his kids into context, you know, we're always begging for days off and trying to work in as much relaxation and family time as possible. And I started shooting, I think on January maybe 4th, and he didn't have to film until the 11th. And I think it's the first time I ever got a phone call from him saying like, so how's work? Y'all need any help? Y'all need me to come there and do it? He's like, I just gotta get out of here so I can relax. I can get back to work. So, yeah, hard job. Father of twins.
I don't know what on any onset, again, nothing's.
I'm trying to think, I know there's
It
some
happens
funny-
every day, that's the problem.
There's-
There's always something.
Yeah. There were some funny gags during Nina's episode, during the Hitler episode. Running to the room, it's like kind of Kramer style. There was another boat off between you and Brad Greaser, the escalator, people mover. There's some funny stuff. There'll be some funny stuff coming y'all's way.
The whole stuff in the trunk with the grenade launcher, remember that? None of that was in the script. That's Nina just letting us play. And then she's like, I'm using that, I don't care.
It'll be fun times.
What do you imagine either your characters or other characters on the show doing when they actually do have some downtime? How do they relax? What are their hobbies?
Don't answer that, Jensen. I think Sam's probably pretty, I don't want to say boring, but I think he's probably a reader and a documentary watcher. You know, like the proverbial intellectual studier, always trying to learn something new.
Buzz the Asian beauties. For days.
It made me laugh. So Buzz the Asian Beauties, no, it's okay. But Buzz the Asian Beauties isn't a real magazine, obviously. But they, for some reason,
What?
They were, well, they have to mock up.
The hell have I been reading for 12 years?
Well, that's my point. Is early on, when he had to read Buzz the Asian Beauties, they would get a fake magazine cover and put it outside of a magazine. The magazine could be Better Homes and Gardens, but they would still be like pornographic magazines. And so, in between cut, like in action, all the grips are like grabbing the magazines, like, those are props, Dad, like everybody's like turning the magazines around. And then I think we had a scene one time where there was like a child actor because her father passed away or something, and Dean finds Buzz the Asian Beauties. Long story short, like the porno mag was still there on set when we're filming like a 12-year-old. Like, oh, what is, oh my God! So they've since changed, and now it's like, you know, Better Homes and Gardens. Yeah.
All right, where are we?
Hi guys.
Hi.
So my question is for Jared, because
Even after that answer, I just, sorry, go ahead.
yesterday Misha was telling us the story about how you introduced West to sugar for the first time. I just really wanted to know your side of that story.
My side of the story is I didn't yet have kids, so I didn't realize how horrific it was, but we were in Italy, and West is there, and we're all kind of chatting, and something occurred to me. I was like, you know, when I was a kid, I used to love eating sugar packets. I didn't really know how to play with 2-year-olds yet, so I was like, how about a sugar packet? And so it was pretty...
Cut to Wes just sitting there and his eyeballs are vibrating.
Running around in circles. I vaguely remember, like, you know how people in like couples, they have unspoken language. Like if my wife were looking at me like, then I know it means like something's going on. I've got to take care of the kids or something. I remember glancing over when Vicky and Misha had realized what happened, and Vicky was like this to Misha, not even like trying to hide it, but like. Misha, like, that's your buddy, dude. Tell him to stop feeding our 2-year-old sugar packets. Yeah. And West is like, I think up until that day, he had like kale and, you know, dried coconut or something. I doubt the child had ever had, you know, an ounce of anything now for him. Here comes Uncle Jared.
Here's some sugar and a side of gluten. Mix them together, it's fun.
Put it in this glass of wine. What did Misha say?
You said that you were basically a monster for doing it.
Yeah. I did it again many years later at a convention, actually. Someone gave me a giant, like, 6-pound gummy. Yeah, gummy bear. Oh, we should take a picture of it, right? Yeah. Misha said it again. Wes was like, he looks over and Wes and I are eating opposite ends of this giant gummy bear. Yeah, that was bad. That was, even I was like, I've got 200 pounds on my kid, so God knows how to hit his little system. Yeah, good times. He hasn't, the problem is that he is entitled to retribution. And he hasn't enacted it yet. But at some point in time, I'm going to be out at dinner with him, and the kids are going to be there. And I'm going to look over, and he's going to have like pixie sticks and fun dip.
No, Misha will have acid.
He's just going to be tying a little rubber band around there.
Honey, where's Tom? Tom? Tom!
Yeah, that does have me worried. We'll try not to think about it though.
Also, I wanted to tell you the haircut looks awesome.
Thank you, girl.
Okay.
I didn't realize this. He came to work the other day or something, and I was looking at him, I was like, it was like looking at Bizarro Jensen or something. Like Demon Jensen, Demon Dean, and I was like, what's going on with you, man? Did you get a nose job, or like, what's it like, why are you different? And then he reaches up and takes his hair, which was this way, and pushes it back the other way. I was like, oh, Jensen. I didn't realize, I was like, you look weird, man. He goes, I was like, oh, your hair was parted the other way.
I just left. Yeah, one of these days we're just gonna do an episode. Y'all are gonna be like, what's wrong with him? Something's different. He's changed.
The very last scene, you just coming back the other way. It's like I still want to make whoever did. There's that picture. It was online, and I guess it was made during season 8 because it's like the 8 different hairstyles of Sam Winchester, and they're true and outrageously different, and then it's like the 8 different hairstyles of Pete Winchester. They're all the same.
When you find what works, still good.
My question is about the character Mary being brought back. Will that bring up the old feelings for Dean, the resentment he has towards Sam, because he feels like if it wasn't for Sam, he would have his parents?
Thanks a lot.
I never looked at it that way.
Again, thanks a lot.
It's like I don't even know you anymore.
Here.
Change. Yeah, I don't know that it's going to go to that layer. I think Dean is still trying to work out just how to behave around Mom and how to accept this relationship that's been absent for so long and really never really had a solid relationship. I mean, the ideas about his mother are really just ideas that he had kind of growing up, and that he kind of clung to this idea of what a mom would be and should be. And of course, as we find out, she's not quite that kind of a mother. And so I think Dean is still, I think he's still trying to unravel that before he gets to the blaming his brother for everything part. but he'll get there.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. Good habits and bad habits. I am a firm believer, almost universally, that your best quality is your worst quality. And I'll explain. I think one of my best habits is I'm a really hard worker. I'm very motivated, I'm very dedicated. I don't even have to look to know what he's doing. Even working out to a degree, but it did get to a place where I became such a perfectionist that, and he'll vouch because, you know, we had seasons where we were living in the same house, and he was like, he was living downstairs, I was upstairs, he's like, why is there banging on the floor at 3 a.m.? We stayed up till like 1 at a restaurant or whatever, and I'd be up working out. Like it was useless. It was like this weird drive to perfectionism that bit me in the ass all the time. Even to some degree, any sort of work, you know, like going home, and I'll still go home and read my script. You know, even if my kids are there, I won't like ignore them by any means, but I'll still kind of be flipping through my script. And Jen will be like, baby, we have to leave tomorrow. I'm like, of course, Jesus, I can read this tomorrow, and like just remind me to not work so friggin' hard that it takes time away. So I hope they find a nice balance between being grateful for the ability to work, but not so driven that you end up kind of pushing away things that you might not have other opportunities to re-experience, you know, like your children growing up or whatever the situation is. So that's what comes to my head.
I'd say one thing I hope they don't get from me is my procrastination skills are amazing.
But you said you were going to stop tomorrow.
I'll get to it. And one thing I hope I do teach them, or that they do get from me, is, and that I pride myself on, is respect for others. I think that's something that, you know, we all can implement in our lives as much as we can, and it's something that I pride myself on, and it's certainly something that I want to pass along to the little ones.
Well, thank you very much. What are your favorite lines that your characters said on the show?
I lost my shoe. And one of the reasons I love it is...
What shoe was it?
Right? Whoa!
Left?
You got that wrong when we were in LA.
There was has anybody ever seen the shoe, what it looked like? It was just a Puma, but on the bottom they had bolted in basically like a super thick staple, which wasn't a staple, I guess it was just iron that had been around, and they had bolted it in on the other side, so I could actually feel, not the points by any means, but the two caps, I could feel them in the shoe, and they had done it because they wanted me to actually lose my shoe, and so they cut the grate in such a way that when I was getting the gum off, what I was actually doing was catching that giant upside down staple onto the grate that they wanted me to catch it on, and it was hooking in, dropping it in. It was a super uncomfortable shoe because they had to screw it in. What's funny about I lost my shoe is it's not necessarily a remarkable line by any means, but it's become like a funny thing that makes me remember that we've been doing this for a long, long time.
I've got a...
You're bossy and short.
Dean's gotten some pretty good lines, you know, from pie to pudding to anything with a P.
Supernatural trivia. pudding was my line. And on the day of, we were like, that's a Dean line. And so we just changed it. We didn't call and ask, we didn't do anything. We were just like, that's a Dean line. Like, but it was Sam, like the script has Sam. Pudding!
I will say that one of my favorite lines, it never made the cut. It's a little fun fact for you. I may have told some of you this, but in last year, the episode Baby, when Dean was in the fight in the backseat of the car with the two bad people, and Dean shoves all the coins into the sheriff's mouth. I added a line there, and I was so happy that they didn't use it. But it was full a la Harrison Ford in Air Force One. I grabbed his face and go, "Get out of my car." And I didn't use it.
What were yours? What were your favorites?
One of mine is probably, so what do you say we kill some evil sons of bitches and raise a little hell?
Also one of my favorites. That was scary.
What kind of house doesn't have sodium? What kind of salt? No sodium freaks? Wait, unicorns aren't real?
All right.
I think that means it's the last question, doesn't it? Ladies and gents, let's make family say hi to Kathleen. Kathleen, we love your shirt and your pants. They're not quite
And your socks.
brick pants.
And your shoes.
I like them all. Where are you from?
Toronto.
Toronto. Nice. Well, a northerner in the house. And what is your question?
What was it like to film the scene where Stan and Dean and Jacksonville find Lucifer in the cage?
Where we find Lucifer in the cage?
Were you fighting him in the cage?
Oh, fighting him in the cage. That was actually...
I can honestly say it was one of the scariest moments I've ever had on the set of Supernatural. And let me explain why. Mark Pellegrino is a trained fighter. So when I'm supposed to come up, when I come up behind him and I hit him, and he just turns around, he loaded up like a professional boxer would. And Mark also has incredible precision. So his full speed punches, I'm not kidding, were coming this close. So like, the hair's on my nose. And I don't have any hair on my nose.
Not anymore.
No. And I just remember, and I mean, we've had hundreds of fights on this show, on this series. He just looked at me and just goes, and I was like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. That was not Dean. That was Jensen crapping his pants.
There's a slight, all of the angles of him hitting any of us, whether it's Misha or Jensen or me, there's a slight, we're looking tough, and then it's like, it's a little bit like, it's gonna hit me this, I'm gonna hit back. That was one of those that
I would never want to seriously be on the receiving end of one of those punches ever. Like it's
Not even jokingly.
no.
That, it was a really, really physical scene. We knew it was going to be, what, 20 seconds? It was like a day and a half of shooting.
Also,
we were in a metal cage.
It was a grate, like it was a metal grate on the floor, and at one point, I dove for you.
Yeah. Oh,
That didn't feel good. Like just, you know, it was grating.
It was one of the few scenes that was in the It was one of the few scenes in Supernatural history that legitimately hurt. I can't take them anywhere. But yes, but the scene was great.
Thank you.
Kathleen, thank you very much. You got right.
Boy,